Hey, so I'm Jason Blain, and I'm presenting AnnuNovo. It's a spine treatment. And the team that we have, and we're just getting our company off the ground, so we're very, very new. But the technology comes out of Cornell via Dr. Larry Bonassar and Dr. Roger Härtl, with Larry having extensive background in biomechanics and biomaterials, and Dr. Härtl is a spine surgeon. So the technology we have related to the spine. And myself, I've been in spine and orthopedic technologies for well over 30 years. The last company I founded was Spinal Elements, which went on to be acquired by private equity, and we were about a $100 million a year revenue company. And also a bit of an inventor myself with over 120 patents. So we have a group of people that have innovated consistently in the spine space, which is what we'll be talking about. So low back pain causes a lot of economic consequence, you could say. So whether that's mild back pain to pain needing surgery, and it's the number one cause of lost work. Back pain and back degeneration is a cascading process, and often one of the first things that happens in the cascade is herniation. You may have heard this called a slipped disc. So your spine is made up of vertebrae and discs, and the vertebrae help protect the spinal cord and the exiting nerve roots that come out of the spinal cord and go through the rest of your body, through your arms and legs. And that's why having a mechanical back problem could present as leg pain or arm pain, such as sciatica. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. But when the disc herniates, puts pressure on the nerves, or it can put pressure on the nerves, and that's the pain generator. So today, the treatment for a herniated disc is to remove that bulging part of the annulus. So the disc is made up of an annulus, which is the circular ring that you see around the disc, and then the nucleus. So the surgical procedure is to access the spine from the back. You make an incision and create a pathway down to the disc of the spine, and you remove part of the annulus that is bulging and causing the pain. And that's it. So today's treatment leaves a hole in the disc, and that is the current standard of care when you have a herniation that doesn't require something more serious. So this is about, you'll find data that shows 300 to 500,000 procedures a year in the US alone for this type of procedure. So the challenge is that a discectomy has about a 20% failure rate, which is pretty high for surgical intervention. So the follow-on procedure could be another discectomy, which again has a high rate of failure, or you move on to fusion, which is more aggressive and includes hardware, fusing the vertebrae together. It's a less desirable outcome, but that's the pathway that we currently have for treatment when a discectomy fails. So there's a large unmet need of being able to repair the spinal disc early in the process and not just have the discectomy. So that's where this treatment comes in. So here I have again the steps before of creating the removing the bulging disc, but what our treatment does is actually go and fill that hole with a collagen gel, which is then photo-crosslinked. And then what you get is kind of completing the annulus again. So very simple in theory, so treatment that doesn't exist. If you ask patients, the funny thing is that they assume this type of treatment is already out there, and it's not. So that's, I believe, the elegance of this solution. And looking at actually what the pieces look like, it's a needle. So it's an injectable fluid that takes the shape of the annulus or takes the shape of whatever it's injected into. And then it's cured with a 480 nanometer blue light. And then it solidifies and fills the cavity. So Roger and Larry have been working on this for some time. As I mentioned, I'm new to this to bring it to market, but there has been quite a bit of animal data generated so far. And I've just got a couple of slides of animal data, but there's certainly more than what I'm sharing with you here. Now, some of their studies focused on changing the recipe, if you will, of the collagen and the cross-linking agent. But what I've boxed in here is the one that would be the commercial version. And what you see is that when treated, and this was in a rat model where they created a defect and then repaired the defect. And what you see is that the repair looks a lot like the adjacent unharmed level of the vertebrae. So that's exactly what you want to see. And then it's maintained the spacing between the vertebrae as well in the rat. So they moved on to a larger animal model, a sheep, and what we see is something similar here. We're able, and this was a larger defect that was created in the sheep and was able to be repaired with the photo-crosslinked collagen. So you have something that where the treatment goes in and appears to look like the untreated area and the undiseased area, which is highly desirable. So across all the animal studies that they've done, the data was relatively consistent in that they were able to safely inject the collagen, cross-link it, the repair stayed in place, the disc height was maintained, and permeability is reduced. So what that means is the nucleus can't further seep out of the annulus defect. So and then the repair becomes infiltrated by host cells as well. So everything in the animal data has been very promising of the treatment doing what we would really like to see it do. Now, looking at the market, as I mentioned, you'll find data that shows between 300,000 and 500,000 procedures in the US. Looking at an ASP of about $5,000 puts us at conservatively about a $1.5 billion market in the US. And we're just saying, hey, if we could capture 10% of that market, we'd be a 150 million revenue company. Now, there's no reason we can't capture more of the market. And that's the nice thing about this treatment. With any of the disease states, this treatment should be able to address them. So most of that $1.5 billion market should be available, and it is a growing market as people age and have greater access to health care. There is one device that is currently on the market that is competition. It's a very mechanical device. They do have reimbursement coding. They've been around for a while. It's the complaints we hear from surgeons, it's a very large device to implant, whereas we have a solution that can be done through very minimally invasive methods and perhaps even endoscopically. But this is the one device on the market currently. We believe that our solution is much more elegant. It's easier to implement. It's a broader group of patients that it applies to. And I think the patient appeal is significant relative to our solution versus the mechanical solution, since it's a little bit more like healing the disc when we plug the annulus and stop the problem. So looking where we are, as I mentioned, we're just starting the company. We do need to do some product development to refine and get it into really a product from the investigation stage and the animal data into something that is human ready. And then we believe our pathway would be a clinical study. That's what early indication and discussion looks like. But to get things started, we're looking at about a $5 million first round to do those things, refine the product, set the regulatory strategy, get set up for the study. So again, it's a large market. We feel like it's there is a solution on the market, but we don't feel like it's sufficient to meet the real need. We have something elegant that's easily trained. We have a good experienced team with our founders who created the solution. And then again, I'm coming on board and have experience in bringing things to market. And the animal data looks very promising. And we do believe that there are a number of potential acquirers should we show that the treatment's successful.
All right. Thank you, Jason. I'd like to open it up for questions now.
So, Jason, I have a question. Can you talk about the safety profile of this? And that's my first question. Second question is that, are you going to consider the your competitor device as a predicate device, or is it a new class of devices? What your plan?
Yeah, so safety-wise, what we're using is collagen that would be human-derived. So it's going to be very safe. And then the cross-linking agent is a riboflavin. So these are known materials. So we feel like the material as far as biocompatibility, there's an established profile there. Um, we are injecting it into the spine. So part of our study will be safety and efficacy of
Yes.
procedure and then efficacy of the treatment longer term. So we will do a study to look at that. But based on the animal data, it's very promising in that the treatment or the plug to the annulus stayed in place, and it does take the shape of and kind of interdigitate with the surrounding fibers. So that's very promising. So the other device is a mechanical solution. That device did go through an IDE PMA process for FDA, so a clinical trial and a PMA for approval. And to get the indications that we would like, we believe we will have to do that too. So it won't really be a predicate device for us. It will be
Okay.
our own study against potentially against a control treatment group.
Thank you.
Sure.